5 seminars given by the tutors here. So each one of us will share with you a bit of our, say, experience and observations on doing architectural design competitions. So the first speaker is Sebastian. He will, in a way, talk about the overall strategies of doing a competition on the logistical side, on team forming, on setting certain trajectories. And I'll share with you a couple of examples on competitions that really want idea, having clear ideas. And I think Francesco will show you examples that graphic, visual representation plays a big part on say, winning a design competition. And then finally we have TC, which takes a kind of infant idea of the design competition brief and translating it into a kind of a concrete reality. So let's give the floor to Sebastian.
Thank you. Oh, this one. Whether I need this one or not. Hello, everybody. I expect most of the students or all the students are here already, right? It's a very important seminar. I think every architect eventually you need to know about competition, design competition, because now you strive on competition to win jobs. Anyway, I go first. The reason why is I don't have any pretty pictures to show. I will be focusing on talking about the meaning of competition, planning, how do you plan to do a competition, right? Strategies, logistics, mechanics, and team forming. And these things you need to know even before you draw one line. Before you draw one line, or whether you are qualified to enter a competition. That is the real life. And what I'm going to say is probably this will be your part 3 exam question. I'm serious. Okay, anyway, what's the meaning of competition? I take out the word design because every design is always a competition. It's a Latin word, I copied it. And you need to know those keywords here. In general, it means a contest or rivalry between 2 or more organisms, like us, animals, individuals, for territories. That's why you have wars. Awards, that's why we do competitions. Recognition, that's why we all want to know about, know about our name. Social status and leadership. Once you win a big competition, you become the leader, right? That's what it is. And also, not to forget, maybe not at your stage now, money. You want to win the job to earn money. It's not just drawing pretty pictures. And in the end, I'll tell you, not always the best design will win competitions. I tell you why. All right, this is quick notes. And what parties would normally invite, initiate, responsible for competitions? Normally it's like a school project, but mainly governments. Because government, they have a small architectural department. They want to share work. They always say they want to share work with the practice, right? So I give work to the practice to do, but most of them are either toilets or school improvements. Okay, so they will do the bigger ones. NGO, non-government offices, just NGO like Science Park and all that. Private sectors, Sun Hung Gay, Lang Fung, and all the developers, or special groups like hospitals. Now there's so many private hospitals, and recently, and almost one completed is in Aberdeen, and there will be about 5 others. So they will ask for competitions. But why do they want competitions? Well, they think they will get the best design. I think not necessary, I just already told you. Or they want to get good reputation, well, for the architect, as well as they invite the best architect. So they have a signature building. Or they can get cheaper fees because competition is not only the architects or the team who supply, a technical proposal or design. They have to submit a fee too. If it's too competitive, some firm may submit a very low fee and get the job for the sake of getting the job. Okay? So these are the reality. And how do we know about competitions? There are government gazettes by invitation. For example, if you want to do a School of Architecture, you will invite TC and Wallace, right? They just designed a very pretty School of Architecture, by invitation, by reputation. Newspapers, they always advertise in newspapers, and the word of mouth. You talk about it, people ring you up and say, oh, do you know somebody? Can you recommend? So reputation is very important to the clients as well as to the architects. So don't build yourself a bad name. Right, now talk about the firms and how the approach and why joining the competition. When you see a sign like, oh, there's a competition, someone gave us 20 blocks. How much time do we have?
15 minutes.
Oh, okay, I better hurry up. Okay, why do you want to join it? Or M Plus Museum, right? One of the signature, most famous buildings in the world. You go for it for reputation. I want to win it. Household million, terrible. Finance, you want money. Hopefully you want to make some money. Networking. Once you won one big competition, you'll get the others. People will come to you. All right? So, and also, why do I want to do it? Because I have experience. Some people in my firm think about it. Or on the negative side and say, oh, my firm are having a bit of problem now. I need to find some jobs. I better win the competition. And then they will technically, financially, they hold me to win it just to keep the firm to survive. So those are the reasons why some firms, they want to do the competition. Now, next one. Once you decided to join the competition, and then they will normally give you a brief to do. The brief normally is not like our U5 brief, 1 page. It will be like a book about that thing. But anyway, I'm not going to do that. Then you have to consider, if you're a firm's partner, director, you have to consider what functional building. If you're good at housing, why do I want to do a museum? No, I'm not going to enter. You have to consider the size of your firm. Can you take it? Do you have enough manpower? Your workload now, I have only 10 people, but I'm working on 11 projects. So obviously, you have to consider whether you want to do the competition. What kind of projects? Time, cost. Cost. Why do I mention cost? Because some competition, they expect to be free, right? All this world, private developers, government, they're quite mean with money. They expect sometimes free services. Why don't you give me something? I'll consider it. All right? So you've got to consider time, people, money, even before you say, yes, let's go to do it. Just like, for example, when I did the science park and City of Dreams, even for the pre-qualification, the first stage, I put about 10 to 20 people. Just imagine the size. Okay, now another interesting point you have to consider: the opponents. Who are you going to compete with? M plus. You look at the list. Oh my God, shit, Saha. Yeah. Oh, she's passed away, unfortunately. Sorry. Excuse me. OAP, right? Richard Rogers. Am I good enough to compete with them, or am I wasting my time? Or some of them are just local people, right? Say XYZ firm. Oh, no problem. I can walk over them. I can beat them. So all that kind of things is very, very complicated before you even think about whether you should enter the competition, but I haven't finished. Do we have a chance? That's the question you ask. All right, so even in competitions, there are two ways to invite competitions. Some clients, they prefer to ask for individual disciplines, just architecture, engineers, interior designers. So they control individual disciplines, and you guys just integrate together. These are the easier ones for both the clients and for the architects, because you only deal with your own people, right? But the client side will be the coordinator. And mainly, it's fine, right? And these mainly normally used for medium-sized project and smaller-sized projects, or for smaller-sized developers, because they don't have the teams to look after all this. Now the big one, which is more popular nowadays, they look for one guy, one firm, the lead consultant, to look after everything. That means you'll be the team leader, lighting, engineering, traffic, interiors, landscaping, IT. I can name 10 disciplines you have to do like that. I did it for Science Park, and all of these disciplines will be under you to control. If it goes wrong, Lee and Orange responsible. Is it scary? Is it scary? This is a 5 billion, only a 5 billion 15 years ago. You have to look after all this lighting, traffic, IT, advancements, so many. Yeah? Okay. Now, in a project like this kind of size, like City of Dreams and Science Park, you have to put a partner or a director to it. So they will ask you, at least this guy has 20 plus, 25 plus years of experience. Then that will eliminate a lot of firms, okay? And as I say, when you do this kind of competition, you need a lot of, before you pre-qualify, a lot of manpower inside, like associate, graphics department, CAD, and AAs to help you to all get this all done. Yeah? And eventually, they might pay you some money back. If not, for big competition like that, you will spend money on models, perspectives, telephone calls. You call Gensler in the morning, 5 o'clock, their time in LA or whatever. You don't sleep for about 2 weeks until you deal with the partners of all the other 10 firms. There's another one people might forget, is office space. When you do a big projects like this, or confidential projects, like a casino, Venetian, they tend to ask you for, can I have a special room because of confidentiality? Any of the other guys in your office cannot be seen. So you have to rent somewhere, or your office as a place to accommodate the whole design team, probably 20 to 30 people extra on top of your all that before you get a single penny. Whew. All quiet. Are you scared or are you happy? I've only got one more to go. Now the marriage, the team. How do you form a team? This is only the logistics. So you have to look at, say City of Dreams. I always use two because I deal with Science Park. Who should I marry? Sarah, Foster, Getty, Ito, engineer, OAP, and all that. So your internal team, you've got to discuss who you want to marry to and to form a team. And whoever your partners will be, you must have the same mindset, same kind of nice people. Otherwise, your internal will be a legal war in the end. Yeah? Because you are the lead consultant. If they don't do the work, you go to jail. You are the AP. Or you pay 15 million insurance liability, all that. So all this kind of mindset, you've got to understand. Do I have one? Yeah, I mean just like, so you do a chart like LNO at the top, LNO, this is another project, I don't name it, with KPF, big firm, and then all the discipline, and then everything is in there. Just not far to go. How are you going to win it? How are you going to win it? Now is the final question. You've got the marriage, you know the team, but forming a team, that means the partner or whoever have to be on the phone almost every day to different discipline to talk about the work, the fees, you know, who's going to do it, all that. It's just like a full-time job. Very, very scary. Okay, in general competition, when you do a submission, you normally have to do 2 documents. One is called a technical document. This is a small one. When I did the science talk, it's got 5 of this. Just a technical submission. With the CV of everybody, your objective, why you want to do this, and then, you know, about landscaping, each discipline has to write about 10 pages. Everything is called a technical. The next one is the financial submission. How much you're putting in. That is really the client wants to see, especially government. Okay? And then how do they separate the 2? That depends on the nature of the project and the size of the project and the client. Normally there are 3. Technical 70%, finance 30. Technical 60, finance 40, or even 50-50, but that is very rare. But if you put technical heavy, fee low, that means normally it's an iconic building because they want to get the best design, and you know your subjects. You want the best design, you submit maybe a low fees. So all the efforts will be put on the technical side. Okay? So this is just basically, it's a huge chess game, and this team leader has to lead and think about all this and agree with all this. And and then during all this, you've got to go through other pre-qualification rounds. You submit bits and pieces of documents in various stages, interviews, and all that to get through. About time of competitions, it's up to the clients, nature of the project, size of the project. Documentation is, you see how thick some of them they need to be. It's again up to the client, nature of the project, size of the project. And I think now Hong Kong IAA, that's a rule, correct me, you are not recommended or not allowed to submit 3 proposals. Because some used to be architect, even before the first, they did the whole model and give the whole scheme. That's not allowed anymore, right? Okay, so I will reiterate, this is just the beginning before you draw a line of design. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Now is the fun part now. This is the picture part now. Interesting or scary? No answer. But this is the real life. This is the real life. Okay?
We can have a kind of a Q&A session afterwards. So,
thank you.
Sebastian just provided a very honest and realistic perspective on architectural competition. I show two projects that is on the other, in a way, the other end. So if they're invited competitions, and then they're, in a way, open competitions. So the one that I'm showing is the first one by Maya Lin. It's the Vietnam War Memorial. So 1,041 entries. One stage competition. These days you don't see that a lot. In fact, I have never seen one stage. I'll tell you why later. Open competition located in DC. So the winner, Maya Lin, was 21 years old. Asian American, born in America. So the site is this Washington DC, laid out by this French architect Lafont, Capitol, State Capitol, Washington Memorial, Lincoln Memorial, and then the White House is right there. So the site is here. So what she proposed is a very abstract cut right into the landscape. Made a very, say, abstract and non-figurative. Right? Figurative as a term that, like statue, hero, right? Soldier fighting. That's a very figurative kind of symbolic icon to symbolize, war. Say, she did the opposite. She made something that's very interpretive. Right? It's just a cut onto the landscape. Seen during the snow. Right? So you can see this geometry, very modern in a way, pointing two ends of the memorial, and then the ground sunkens. This is a painting, as a painterly, say, rendition of the memorial, right? Trying to capture the effect of the, say, emotional effect that one sees. Names carved onto the granites, and then they're probably brothers or family members. The dates and the names of the fallen soldiers. And how? So those were the images, but this was the one page or one board submission out of the 1,400. Right? It's amazing. This will never win today. But even that time, it's amazing that the juror spent the time to delve into this scheme. So what's so special about this? There's one view, like similar to the view that you saw before, built. There's a kind of concept, right? And then there's elevations, and there are these kind of notations. And here you cannot see probably. It has a font type. And then the most important, right, has to do with actually this one. A handwritten concept for the project. Right? You can even see a little bit of what do you call it, the whiteout that she had made changes. That was her. This is the equivalent of Donald Trump in 1980. A Texas billionaire went on TV to call her. This is a disgrace, right, to America, to have an Asian American designing a war memorial, an Asian. Calls her on TV, April. You can actually see this documentary. It won the Oscar on her projects. On TV, defending her work against this billionaire. Well, that's too bad. I was going to read this. I recommend you to download this. You can actually read a little bit. So she says, walking through this park-like area, the memorial appears as a rift in the earth. Basically, if you were to read that, she gives you a precise description of the experience of walking into the memorial, of slowly, say, descending into the ground, and then finding the names of your loved ones. And there's this whole say, sequence about the material, say the use of material, has to be black highly polished to get that mirror effect. So in the text, she already talked about this image, that there's this kind of irony or this kind of